Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. You tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on, my guy?
Whew. Can't call it, my guy, man. Just still trying to figure out this thing that we call life, my guy. Gotta dang, but I gotta go in this weekend. Not looking forward to that. But you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But I'm making it out here in these streets, man. How you feeling? Everything good with you?
Man, everything is copacetic. I cannot complain. I am a little sad still off of getting my car towed and being put $260 in the hole. But outside of that, I'm good.
Hey, man, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? That whole look, I feel it too. You know what I'm saying? We got our own separate holes, man. They ain't 6 feet deep though. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Definitely not 6 feet deep.
Yeah. Just different kind of holes, man. Different kind of holes, man. Kind of like a pothole, man. You know what I'm saying? Or like, a hole like when you cutting grass and then you forget that there's a hole in the yard.
Hey, man! Shout out to my little homie BP, man. Speaking of that, bro, he got injured cutting grass and ended up cutting his foot, man. So shout out to my little homie.
Snap!
Yeah, he doing good.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, he doing good. He doing real good. But when you said that shit just made me think of that. I forgot to shout him out.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? But he good, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing too crucial or nothing too major. He could still walk and everything else. He got all his limbs, so he good. You know what I'm saying? He definitely blessed for that. I just wanted to say shout out to him. Also, man, rest in peace to Clarence Avant. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Man, we lost
the Black Godfather.
Absolutely. We did the didn't we do the or we talked about it? Maybe we talked about it. I don't know if we did it.
We might have did like in the not appreciation, but what we're watching like we got today. We might have did a what we're watching, but I don't think we covered that.
Right. Okay. I'm just making sure. But rest in peace to Clarence Avant, man, a major player in the entertainment entertainment industry. Not just music, not just movies. I mean, he covered all bases. Some of the biggest names, not only in Hollywood, not only in music, but just in life in general. He's been a part of and he's helped out and played his part. So just want to send a major rest in peace out to him. Condolences to his family and friends. That's a huge loss. You know what I'm saying, for everybody. But off of that, I know it's a super somber way to move on, but this is one of our favorite, you know what I'm saying, one of our favorite segments of the show. This is where we can give you a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, what we do outside of every episode, whether it be a movie or television show. This is our segment we call What We Watching.
Let's do it. What we watching?
What we watching?
All right, man. What do you got?
All right, man. Look. So you remember when I told you I had like this obsession of The Sopranos, right? Where it was just like all I can do is just like, go through my daily day, speaking with the kids, blase, and it's like, all right, it's Sopranos time. You know what I mean? That feeling that came back up again, man. But it's not with The Sopranos.
Okay.
I cannot stop watching Ray Donovan. I done started rewatching Ray Donovan.
Okay. Respect.
I am already back to season 3. Season 3, episode 2 of a 12 episode season, man. I done jumped back on Ray Donovan, man.
Nice.
And it's just like, man, that's really all I've been watching as of late.
Yeah.
Man, it's obviously, I've been fucking with Ray Donovan for a minute. Like I was super excited about the movie when they did the Ray Donovan movie to close out
Mhm.
the series. But man, I'm back in that lane, man. I'm
For sure.
I'm that's all I've really been watching as of late. I haven't really been watching anything new. It's just been the movies that we're doing
Mhm.
and Ray Donovan. Has been taking up my day, man. So that's what I've been on, man. I'm on season 3 now. Season 3, episode 2 of
How
Ray
many
Donovan.
is it total?
It's is it 6 or 7? It's either 6 or 7. It might be 7.
Okay.
Yeah, 7, and then the movie.
Nice. You
So
got a lot of
yeah,
questions.
yeah. But I'm running through it, man. I just
Yeah.
started like a week ago, and
You on
I'm
Hulu?
already on season 3.
You on Hulu?
Yes, I'm on Hulu, but it's on the add-on because it's a Showtime show.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
man, my what we watching, man. I'm back. I'm back on Ray Donovan, man. Shout out to Lee Schreiber. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? He absolutely murdered that. Shout out to John Boyd too,
No
man.
pun
You know
intended.
what I'm saying? Oh.
So, man, let me tell you something, man. As of late, I have also been on the Hulu bandwagon as well. Rewatching, you know what I'm saying, some of my favorite joints. So I finished Scrubs. I got Scrubs out of the way. I
Mhm.
totally forgot they had a whole season or two where they did like the med school shit. So I finally got caught up on that shit and finished that. And then I moved on to Hi, My Name is Earl, which is a fantastic show. Um, I started watching How My Name is Earl when I would do third shifts. So I would come
Mhm.
home and that would be one of the shows that they would just like have on TV and shit. And that's how I got into that. But I start watching How My Name is Earl, and then I had to because fantasy football is back in effect. Football season is coming back in effect. Like I do every year before football season pops up, I had to watch the league. If you have not the league, I pray and I beg you to make sure you get Hulu and go back and watch this. Or if you got FX on demand, just go back and watch this. This is I think they got like 2 or 3 seasons. This is something I wish they would have kept going, but I understand why they probably couldn't, only because everybody kind of blew up off of it because at the time fantasy football was like in its sprouting stage and everybody just started getting on fantasy football and this was a major show for FX. But when
Mhm.
I tell you that these are some of the best episodes of television you will ever watch in your life, you know what I'm saying? Between the league and Always Sunny, I was glued into FX, and this gives me that feeling. But also the fact that fantasy football is starting back up. This is one of those things that get me hyped for it, and I had to, you know, what I'm saying, do my yearly ritual or annual ritual and go back and watch the league, and it's all on Hulu. If you get a chance, Hi, My Name is Earl, and the league. That's what I got.
Gotcha. Not mad at it.
Man, so well, you laughed because you familiar with it?
I'm. I've never watched it.
Mhm.
I've seen, but like the promotional shit and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like I've seen, like I kind of know what the show is about.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So like, but like some of the little shit that they be showing, it'd be funny. Like some of it be funny.
let me tell you,
I never really got into it.
I know
You
you.
already know, dude. You already know a lot of like the comedy shows. It's not like look. I told you this before. It's I love comedy. I love to laugh, but like a lot of the times, it's really dependent on like how I know this sounds really weird, but it's
Yeah,
really dependent on like my like mental state, kind of like.
right.
And it's just like I really like when it comes to comedy, I have to be in the mood to laugh, and I
Listen,
watch it.
I will tell you this because I know you well enough. Okay,
Hmm.
regardless of your mental state, this is one of those shows that's not necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong, because it is a comedy, but it's not necessarily focused on the comedy. It's more so focused on fantasy football. And because I know how much of a football fan and a fantasy football guru you are at this point, you will love this. I don't care what I'm telling you right now, this may also be your ritual from here on out. Just 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 go to first 3 episodes. That's all I'm asking. Go to first 3 episodes. First and foremost, you're gonna feel nostalgic. Because if you've been playing fantasy football for as long as I have, then you understand everything in this show. I've been playing fantasy football literally since my senior year of high school. So that's '07. So you got to think back to all of the technology. And remember, we talked about this with Silver Linings Playbook about how old as fuck that MacBook was, and it wasn't even that long ago. So just think about all of that. It's gonna make you nostalgic. It's gonna make you laugh, and it's gonna make you want to super prep for fantasy football for sure. But this show is like I say, if you love football, if you love fantasy football, this show is definitely for you, bro. I don't care if you even if you don't laugh, you still gonna watch it just because of the fact that it's really based around fantasy football. It don't got shit to do with nothing else for real. Everything is
Yeah.
about fantasy football and this trophy that they call the Shiva. And when you find out why they call it the Shiva, you definitely are going to appreciate it. They tell you you find out in season 2, but you really are going to appreciate why they call it the Shiva. So yeah, all of this shit is funny because and it's even funnier now, especially now that I'm in the league that's like that. Like I'm in the pay league with my little cousins and shit. And so when I tell you like it's really like that, like we got a golden trophy for the loser. It's a toilet. It's a golden toilet trophy, and then we get rings for the champions, and you win money. So like we definitely, yeah, it's really like that. So make sure y'all go watch that. As that all I ask you to do is watch the first 3 episodes. Just get through the first 3 episodes, and if you're not feeling it from that point on, I salute you. But I'm telling you right now, you're gonna watch every episode after that 3rd episode.
Why why all I could think about is in Knocked Up when old dude was lying about going to shows and then his wife Leslie Mann think he cheating and she going out
and they playing fantasy football.
fantasy baseball.
Hey, listen, it's a scene that's similar to that. It's not the same at all, but it's a scene that's similar to that. Like that whole like when motherfuckers walk in and see that shit, like what the fuck is going on here? It's a scene just like that in that show, which
Yeah.
makes that shit way more funnier.
Yeah, that shit might be the most hilarious shit I've seen. But that shit is so fucking funny. He's like, I got Maxui. She's like, what the fuck is going on? Hey man, yo, can you just imagine where your wife or your wife or whatever, your girlfriend, literally like, yo, this motherfucker cheating. I know he cheating. I done
Yeah.
found the house. I done found the bitch house. I'm about to blow the whole spot up, and you come in there, there's a bunch of dudes playing fantasy football, or baseball, or whatever the case may be.
Let me tell
Yo,
you,
hilarious.
the girl I'm talking to right now, she has no understanding whatsoever of what I'm talking about. Our draft is next weekend. Okay. I'm definitely coming in to talk about the draft as well. But our draft is next weekend. So we meet up at Buffalo Wild Wings every since this league done started. That's where our draft party is held.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell her and I give her the excitement that I give her about this, her response was, so I understand the money and I understand the ring. And she said she even get the toilet trophy. She said, but she was like, outside of that, she was like, do y'all get to like meet these people or like talk to these people or anything? I said, no. I said, we have no connection with these people whatsoever. All we have to do is watch them play and make sure we picking the right people. She said, I just don't get it. She said, I just don't get it. She said, what does this do for you? I said, this is everything for me. I said, do you understand the ego and the shit talking that goes on in the group chat? I was about to show her the group chat. I almost showed her the group chat, but I couldn't. But we got a group chat. We got a fucking Instagram group. I think we almost had a Twitter group, but everybody don't use Twitter, so that was out of there. But like when I tell you, like we really go in, and then like the message board on there, it get crazy. It gets super crazy. So yeah, like we are really super duper into it. Like this year we presenting this is the first year we actually get to present the golden toilet trophy to the actual the actual loser of the league. So last year we had to pick it to him because he couldn't make it. But this year we actually get to give the trophy to the person that won it this year for losing the league. So yeah, it's dope as fuck, man. And the show is in that same vein. So that's why I definitely appreciate it. But I'm telling you, because I know how you are about fantasy football, you would definitely love this shit, bro.
That's funny. That's funny. I give it a shot. I give it a shot. But man, I'm telling you, but it's been like as of late, but that's all I can think about. But
Mhm.
it's fucking Ray Donovan, man. I've been
I
running through that shit like crazy.
I feel. Listen, just take because you already seen Ray Donovan, so take a slight break from Ray Donovan. Give it about 2.5 hours. Switch over to the league and give it 3 episodes. If it's not good in 3 episodes, then I don't know what to tell you. You got it, but I'm telling you, Ray Donovan is going to be on hold off of this shit, bro. I'm telling you. And I'm only saying that because you never seen it before. So
Yeah, I've never seen it before. Yes.
when I first seen it is when it like had came out on FX, and I had watched it a little bit, but you know how it is, like you don't really catch it because at the time it was an episodic thing, weekly episodic. So one day I'm sitting in the house, I ain't got shit to do. I'm searching through, you know what I'm saying, on Hulu trying to find some shit, and I see it. And I said, man, I gotta go back and watch this. So I started from the beginning and started watching. I said, this shit not only had me pumped up for fantasy football, but when I tell you I was crying, laughing through some of this shit, I was like, yeah, this is the one. So every year, that's I made that my ritual. Every year before the season starts, before fantasy football start, I gotta finish the league every time.
Gotcha. Bet it up, man. Bet it up. I
For
got you.
sure. For sure. All right, man. So let's get into it, man. This episode we have, if you haven't paid attention to the title yet, this episode we have a movie entitled Side Effects, starring Rooney Mara, Shannon Tatum, Jude Law, Catherine Zeta-Jones, amongst a host of other players and people in this joint. This is pretty much about a young woman who is dealing with mental health issues, and she is on the brink of a very very deep depression, amidst her husband getting out of, what was they married?
They were married.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just making sure. But amidst her husband getting out of jail, he was a broker or stockbroker or something like that who got locked up for insider trading. He ends up
Yep.
getting out, um, and some things happen. She's dealing with her mental health issues. It gets a little bit worse once she gets back. She ends up killing him. Then pretty much she has to, deal with her therapist, and then she ends up getting put on trial, and then we find out that some shit wasn't what it was supposed to be. That's that's the pretty much good synopsis, because we really gonna dive deep into this one. So that's pretty much a
Hmm.
good synopsis of what's going on. Okay, so this was your pick. Um, you was telling me about this. You were telling me how good this was, and uh, I'm not gonna lie, you weren't wrong. Uh, you got another one on the board. How did you feel rewatching this joint?
Okay, so going back and rewatching this, well, first of all, I felt good about going back and rewatching it because this is one of those movies where, just like I say, like this movie is really down my alley. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? When it comes to it, give you the suspense, it give you the mystery, it gives you the drama, it gives you the thriller. like type part of it. Like that's really like my lane, besides the horror movies that I fuck with.
Right.
And so this was one of those movies where at the time it had a moment because this movie came out in 2013. So around the moment that it came out, like this movie had a lot of buzz, but I felt like it kind of died off really fast. But like to have the people that it has in it, like Rooney Mara, who is really, really underrated as an actress. Like
absolutely. After
I think,
absolutely.
yeah, and then like her sister's out here killing it too. But like I feel like why you look at I told you who her sister was.
Who?
Okay. Did you see the you never watched Class of '09, right? I just remember telling you about that. I don't think you ever watched it.
Yeah. Another FX show, yeah.
Did you watch you remember the Fantastic Four, the one that had Michael B. Jordan in it?
Yeah, his sister?
The girl that played
Sue Storm. Yeah,
Invisible. The one that get invisible.
Yeah.
That's her sister, Kate Moore.
Okay. I know you're talking about that.
So but Rooney is really, really underrated. Like a lot of people know her for being in one, like I said, they did like 3 or 4 of them, like the girl with the dragon tattoo. Like, she murdered that. But like her being in it, and listen, we had this discussion before the pod. Listen, real talk. This is the best I've ever seen. Kathleen Zeta-Jones. All right.
Absolutely.
Yo, you want to talk about beautiful. Listen.
You subscribe me to anything, brother.
I'm taking anything you give me at this point.
Anything. Looking like that.
And the glasses take her completely to the top.
I could get a donation from Jeff Bezos for $1 million. I'm going to Catherine Jones to go to therapy. What are we talking about? And
what couch am I sitting on?
Man, what? I sit on the floor. Just vicinity. She was fine in the mug, man.
Man, I'm telling you. So but to have her in Jude Law, like for me, Jude Law is like he was in like 2 movies that I really, 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 really fuck with. Like one of my favorite war movies, which is Enemy at the Gate.
Okay.
And I fuck with him in Alfie. You know what I'm saying? He was in the one joint with oh man, what's his name? With the eye, he got the eye. Forrest Whitaker.
Fire.
The Repo Man.
Fire.
Yes, he was in the Repo Man.
Hey,
yes,
I had the Repo Man. I got the Repo Man from a bootlegger. Hey, that was one of the best bootlegs I ever bought.
Yeah, the Repo Man was alright. Hey, if y'all never seen the Repo Man, yo, they basically lending out organs, and if you don't pay, they come and take the organ from you.
Yo, when he cut dude open that one time, I was like, he wasn't playing no games about that.
Yo, you want to talk about wild? Yo, that is a wild movie, dude. Can you imagine you ain't making your payments on the liver you got, and then they come and take that bitch?
Hey man, it's getting there. It's definitely getting there.
Yes, but of course, you know what I'm saying, we know about Channing Tatum, but like the casting was really good. But like what I really fuck with about this movie is just the fact of like, look, we got to get into like this man talk, because there are a lot of drugs out there, and like a lot of the times when we either in pain or whatever you have, let's say you got high blood pressure. Well, if you got high blood pressure, like a lot of the time, like you need this medication. So you just kind of like, all right, well, give me the fucking pill thing to take. And then they have the little side effects on there. You like, oh, well, the doctor said I got to take it, so I'm going to take it.
Man,
so a lot of the times, yeah, you're just trying to, keep your blood pressure in check. But what's really important about this movie is like this movie is called Side Effects, and she ended up getting on this drug that one of the side effects that we find out later that her doctor that she had when she was in Connecticut, which was Victoria Seabreed, I believe it was Seabreed.
Siebert.
It was Siebert.
Yeah.
So Dr. Siebert actually consulted with the drug, and she actually put in the articles that one of the side effects was sleepwalking.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you find out throughout the end of the movie is that this whole shit was constructed. Like these motherfuckers was working in cahoots to get herself to take this one drug so she could act like she's sleepwalking and fucking kill her husband.
Right.
And the whole reason that they even did this shit because she learned from her husband this whole shit about insider trading. And
Mm-hmm.
she knew that eventually the stock would go up. So it's just like to think about the amount of planning that had to go into this,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of acting that had to go into this. Not acting as we watching actors. Like she had like Emily, wait a minute, her name was Emily, right?
Uh,
Yeah, Emily Taylor had to act in the movie to make it seem like she's really going through depression. She's really like battling through a whole bunch of shit. And the whole time you find out that this bitch didn't have no depression. She played everybody, all to murder her husband, to set this one doctor up, thinking that this one doctor just gonna just let the shit go.
mm-hmm.
And then her and Siebert, right? Why I
Yep.
keep getting it wrong?
Siebert.
And her and Siebert was supposed to like be together, but they make a whole bunch of money. Basically, the money that she lost when her husband got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's a lot of different factors in this movie that I just think that is really, really dope, man. And I'm doing a lot of rambling, but so this was your first time
Yeah.
seeing this movie. Like what were some of your thoughts? You gave me some credit, which I always appreciate, but like your first impressions of watching this movie, what was you thinking?
Okay, so first and foremost, um, everybody that's been listening to this podcast and that's been with us from either day one or early on knows that I am a sucker for twists and turns. Everybody knows how much I love twists and turns. Um, what's the one movie? Fuck with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
Um,
Shutter Island. You love Shutter Island.
yeah, Shutter Island is the perfect example, and this to me gave Shutter Island vibes. This
Okay.
this was like if Leo or if you had like a if you had a specific lane in the you know what I'm saying on the highway for twists and turns, Shutter Island is always gonna be the car that's leading whatever you know what I'm saying whatever is joining in that lane. This is definitely second in that lane. Um, Amazing work from everybody first and foremost. Once again, Catherine Zeta-Jones, uh, 10 stars. 10 stars. um, Rooney Mara, I'm not too familiar with a lot of her work, but I will say that this role, she did an amazing job. I'm not really mad at what she did, but the star of the show for me personally is Jude Law.
Oh yeah.
Um, Jude Law really to me, I feel like is the star of this movie. Even though I know it's really focused around Emily Taylor, but him playing Jonathan or Dr. Banks, he does a phenomenal job. Um, and then not only that, for him to actually be able to use his accent, he ain't have to switch up or do none of that. I appreciate that because a lot of British actors or even actors from, what I'm saying, other countries, they don't get a chance to really, what I'm saying, use their true accent in certain movies. So the fact that he's always in a movie where he's able to use his accent, I appreciate that. Um First and foremost, this movie to me, the bad guy in this movie is not Emily Taylor. The bad guy in this movie is not Dr. Banks. The bad guy in this movie is not even Dr. Siebert. But the real bad guy in this movie is Big Pharma. We
Yep.
have we have to acknowledge that. It is Big Pharma. Um and the pressure that they put on, saying therapists and doctors and even just people in the medical field in general. The pressure that they put on them to push these drugs that they're pretty much creating to sell. This is pretty much like being a legal dope boy at this point. Um and I also want to shout out Shannon Tatum or Channing Tatum, however you say that nigga name. Um because this is the one dude that I know who gets paid the big bucks to do fucking nothing in movies. Like like this nigga, I am surprised that GQ or Time has not put this man on the cover of the most beautiful person in the world or the most beautiful man in the world at this time, because this nigga off of his looks has been able to get so many different roles and so many different major movies and important movies for nothing. Cause his acting is really not like if I put it like this, like out of the four we named, Rooney Mara, him, Jude Law, Catherine Zeta-Jones, he's definitely at the bottom.
Yes, I agree.
When he was doing the step up movies, he was at the bottom of that too. Anything Channing Tatum is on, he's never like the best actor in, but because like he got the pretty boy look and the chisel abs, he's always going to get credit for being, you know what I'm saying, in the joint. So I gotta shout him out for that. And he does a great job of dying in movies too. I will give him credit for that now.
Yo, that's hilarious.
I'm dead serious though. I'm dead serious. Like any movie that he's in and like he's dying, he does a great job of dying in movies. And that's a hard thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in movies, I think that's one of the most toughest things to do in movies is to be convincing as you're getting killed in the movie. But he does that very well. But the movie itself, right? We find out that this doctor is pretty much pushing the drug that he doesn't really know too much about. He just knows that it's something that can help his patient, and we find out that he what he really is trying to do is really do his best job at his profession, only to then kind of be what I'm saying, scammed into some other shit that he didn't really have no idea about or know nothing about, and then to only turn around and then be like, yo, I'm gonna break this case. Pretty much he turned into what I'm saying, the people in the mystery machine. He was with Scooby-Doo and then was like, we gonna bust this shit wide open. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna figure this shit out, because there's no way they about to have my license for this shit. But nah, I mean this movie was amazing. Like I said, man, like y'all know how I feel about Shutter Island. I feel like this is right behind Shutter Island, only because there's so many twists and turns in it. First and foremost, shout out to Steven Soderbergh and Scott Burns, who is the writer. They did a great job coming together and piecing this together, because this was I haven't heard of this movie before. And like I know you said like it had some acclaim and everything, like people were really talking about it, but I didn't know shit about this movie. And I feel like this is one of those movies that should have really been like at the forefront of Oscar season. This should have been at the forefront of award season in general, because this was one of those movies that if you are paying attention, you don't have to necessarily worry about what's really going on, but you kind of get the message. And I feel like it was a huge message in this.
It was a huge message in this, because like one of the things that they talked about, and look, we was talking about this when we did the crowded room, because at the time the case that they were doing, it was like, yo, like we can't sit there and say like somebody got multiple personalities, because now we can just say, oh, the personality, the alter made him do it. And it's like now you are doing a trial where you're saying, yo, this drug that this girl was given made her sleepwalk, and while she was sleepwalking, she murdered her husband. So you also have that factor of like, yo, like now we have to start really paying attention to, okay, what are the side effects to these drugs? And the wild part about that is, I think because we've gotten to the point where when it comes to side effects, like I mentioned earlier, we're more like, okay, what do I need to do to either quote unquote get better, feel better, take care of this and take care of that, we're more to the fact of like, okay, we need to take what we need to take to make ourselves better. And we a lot of the times we don't even really pay side effects any fucking attention.
Right.
And like what this movie did was, like you said, big pharma, but at the same time, this movie really kind of made you look at, yo, maybe let me check out and see what these side effects are. Because maybe I don't want to take this drug, because what this movie ended up showing us was, well, it really didn't show us anything, because find out at the end that all of this shit was fake. But the reason why Sabri was pushing this drug to Dr. Banks was for the simple fact that her and Emily was in cahoots, but she knew that when she commented on this drug, because the way he found it out was he researched the drug, and then you know how you can go on there and see like doctor comments or whatever. So he's strolling through the doctor comments and he see Dr. Seabreed, and the very first thing that fucking shit says in all caps, sleepwalking.
Right.
So then that's when he really started piecing this shit together. Like, wait a minute. She set me up from the whole jump. Like from the very first time that I met her, well, met Emily, really, because Emily told her that, yo, I've been in therapy before when I was in Connecticut, and this was my doctor. And he asked, yo, can I go back and speak to this doctor? And she was like, yeah. That was it was the whole setup. Like everything she did was a setup.
Right.
Start from the very first beginning, because like you're watching the movie, and so you see, her, talking to her boss, talking about how excited she was that her husband was getting out of jail. Husband get out of jail, and you don't think about it at the time. You're thinking, okay, so when you first watch this movie, when you see the whole sex scene, like she looks disappointed. And the very first thing you think of is like, well, I mean, look, he been locked up for 4 years. He bust quick. You know what I mean?
The first thing I thought was, this nigga been locked up for that long and he ain't had nothing to give her, bro. If you lock me up, I don't give a damn if it's 6 months. If you lock me up for whatever time, it could be 30 days, and I can't get none. Boy, when I get out of there, it's the what's the shit in Spain? The chasing of the bulls. It's that, okay? It's all testosterone. Everything. I'm full force, okay? I'm going crazy. There's no way this man got out and he in there struggling to do anything. That's crazy.
No, he wasn't struggling. It was just the fact that
you didn't hear him.
Yeah, but that was just because he buzzed quick.
That man said, That nigga sound like he was outside digging dirt, bro. He wasn't hitting nothing. Okay, that man wasn't hitting a goddamn thing. He wasn't doing shit, man. She was, the way she was starfishing him.
Yo, you was fucking hilarious.
Come on, man.
Man, listen.
Channing Tatum, this nigga was Magic Mike. This nigga could. Hey, man.
Hey.
That should have ticked something off right there. You mean to tell me I've been gone for this long? I come home, you know what I'm saying? We both ain't touched nothing. We both ain't did nothing. We've been waiting. And I come home and hit it. You ain't making a noise. You ain't making a sound. You ain't moving. You ain't breathing heavy. None of that. Bitch, either you cheating or you faking it. One of the two.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because
that shit was ridiculous.
Because we later realized that she was faking it. Like she didn't want to touch this dude.
Man.
And so if we thinking the disappointed look on her face is because my man must have buzzed quick, but the disappointment in her face was like, man, I don't even feel like doing this shit right now.
Right.
Like this is a whole fucking ploy. And then we find out that like, so Say Bree was like, yo, she put the sleepwalking shit in there. So what she started doing was she started acting towards the world to get people
Oh
to.
no! Before she even started acting to the world, she was acting to him.
Well, yeah, she had to.
Remember, remember because okay, so this is why I say, man, they did a real good job with this. So when he first got out, you know what I'm saying, my man was hitting it, you know what I'm saying, or he thought he was hitting it, wasn't nothing going on. And she goes, you know what I'm saying, she goes to talk to Jude Law. Jude Law gives her this new mystery drug, you know what I'm saying, that ain't been pretty much used nowhere for real, except for only a few patients. It's just getting out there on the market. She uses it. She come home. I mean, she giving this man the business. This nigga, he said, man, whoever got this drug is gonna be rich. Okay, and he was
Yes,
laying down. He wasn't putting in no pumps. He was laying down, and she
yeah,
she went crazy. By the way, her body phenomenal. So you know what I'm
top
saying?
notch.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness, that she was all right. So after that, she fall over. He like, whoever got this drug is gonna be rich. He felt it. You know what I'm saying? He felt the market bubble burst before the bubble even was created. Um, then you know what I'm saying? My man knocked out sleep. She apparently threw it on him. Wasn't nothing he could do. My man turned over, knocked out sleep. Next thing you know, this nigga hearing music. It's goddamn breakfast being made. This nigga wake up, it's 12 o'clock in the motherfucking morning. He's like, hey, what the fuck is going on? That nigga said, man, it's the middle of the night. You turn this shit down. He get up, he looking at the table, his food on it. He's like, are we expecting somebody or something? This bitch come
Yeah.
in.
Why he said are we expecting somebody? That was fucking hilarious.
I mean, because it when the table was set up, I was confused about that too. When the table was set up, it was only one plate. So I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. My question would have been, bitch, why is this music so high? You see me in here sleep. Now you done put this thing on me. Now let me sleep. Okay? But this nigga come in, he confused. She get the pouring milk. Now, this is the thing. Supposedly she's sleepwalking, right?
You going where I was going.
How the fuck this bitch pouring milk in the glass? Pinpoint accurate sleepwalking.
Yo,
And I'm talking about then she went so this is why at the end of the movie you realize it's all an act because she start pouring it but let it overflow. Nah.
see, that's where I wish
Hey,
I could have. I wish I could have spoke to somebody about sleepwalking because the type of shit she was doing. Because later on, when she actually murdered him, she's cutting this fucking red pepper with accuracy. You know what I'm saying? Like she's murdering this shit. And
but
it's like, wait a minute, you
no.
sleep. What
She
do you
cut
mean?
she cutting the red pepper with scissors, bro.
No. She had a knife. She had a knife.
Where the fuck she get the scissors from then?
She stabbed him with a knife. Like she had a knife the whole time.
Oh, that was a knife?
Yes, that was a knife.
Why the fuck was I thinking that was scissors? Oh,
I,
well, the angle was weird when she started stabbing him because to me it looked like she had a pair of scissors like stabbing this nigga.
no. It was a knife. It was a cutting knife. But it's just how good she was cutting it. I'm like, you're supposedly sleep.
Yeah.
How are you cutting this red pepper so well?
Okay, so this is the thing, right? So what I know about sleepwalking because I've done multiple YouTube dives, and don't quote me on any of this information because I don't know if none of this shit is correct. But a lot of sleepwalking is just really muscle memory. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Go to your bathroom a lot. You know, you might go to the kitchen to open the refrigerator door. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. That's what I understand from sleepwalking. So like a lot of people that I've heard that deal with that dilemma is that like it'll be something like they may have to go to the restroom and because they're sleepwalking, they go to the restroom and lift the toilet seat up. They don't use the restroom. They just lift the toilet seat up and then walk back out You know what I'm saying? Like your body is so used to doing the normal functions around your house, it just becomes muscle memory. Or like they'd go to the kitchen, open the refrigerator door, and then like walk off, and you'll be like, "Well, who the fuck was?" You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck was breaking in our house making a sandwich? And you don't even know, but it was the motherfucker laying next to you sleepwalking. So
Yeah.
a lot of the shit just seemed to be like muscle memory type shit. The shit she was doing was very telling.
Yes. And I thought that was the only thing about the movie that was just a little bit OD. Like I think they went just a little bit too much on that.
I'm gonna tell you the genius in it though. I understand what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying because it seemed as if it's super OD, but it's not. Because remember when he woke up and he looked at the table, it was only one plate made,
Mm-hmm.
and there was only one glass sitting there. So, truthfully, some of that would kind of make sense because for what the last maybe year and some change, she been by herself.
Been by herself. Yeah.
So it makes sense that what she's doing is only one fucking plate there. It's only one glass there. So I think they did a great job of putting that in there to make it seem as if like she's so used to doing this shit that she, you know what I'm saying? Because if this is your first time watching this and you never seen this, you assume that she's sleepwalking because you see everything going on. They do a great job of filming it, but you see everything going on and she pouring the one glass for herself, blah, blah, blah. So it seems as if she's really sleepwalking at first. You really don't even understand the fact that all of this shit is a fake yet until you actually get to see how everything ends up being played out.
But to add to that point, the
Mhm.
day that she murdered him, it was 3. And that's why the cops was like, yo, was y'all expecting someone? Because it was a table set for 3.
Mhm.
But like the whole point that I was making was the acting. Like you made a great point. She started acting for him first, but
Mhm.
then she started acting for others.
Mhm.
Where there was one scene where when the way this shit even started in the first place, she's walking in the garage and she's acting like something's wrong with her. She dropped her purse, and so this guy that works in the garage, he was cleaning his car, helps her put everything back in her purse. She get in the
Mhm.
car, then she drives her shit straight into a wall. All right.
Yo,
So
that right there. Nah, I'm not going through any length like that to prove that I have mental health issues. I mean, I would rather go outside and scream and yell at the stop sign. Like, nah, I'm not running into a fucking brick wall in the garage of my apartment. Fuck no, bro.
and, and and then there was the whole thing of like her putting the seatbelt on. So they was
Mhm.
like, well, damn, if she put the seatbelt on, then she actually wasn't trying to kill herself, but it's a whole little thing.
Right.
Okay. So then there's another scene where she's at the subway and she walks on the little part, the danger part or whatever. That
Mhm.
whole thing was to get that cop's name so he could witness, like she was about to walk, off of the plateau thing, into a train or whatever.
Yep.
And he had to pull her back. Then there was another scene where her and what's Channing Tatum name? Martin. When her and Martin, when Martin was like, "Yo, I got to get myself back out there. I got to be seen by people." There was this big party on this ferry, and so she was like, "I'm gonna go with you, or whatever."
Well, before that, remember, he kind of already had a gist of what was going on because, and not necessarily what was going on as far as the real thing, but he knew she was dealing with something, or he, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
was
because this was after the car crash.
right. Because remember when the doctor came up to her, came up to him, he was like, "Yo, I thought she had gotten over all of this." So
Yes.
this is some stuff that has happened before to get him to believe that, and which is even more diabolical because this plan goes back even further than kind of what they showed us.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
yeah.
this is true. And so then when they was on the ferry, they don't show you at the time, but they show you when what I'm saying when everything's starting to get uncovered because
Mhm.
like she's like crying and she's acting depressed and she was like, Martin, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And
Right.
so like he put his coat over her and kind of like walking her out, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Everybody felt all sympathetic for her. But then we find out later this bitch had Visine, dropping Visine in her eyes to make herself cry and make herself seem like she's depressed. So like she's acting throughout the whole movie. And what ended up happening was when she ended up murdering Martin.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's the whole shit of like, oh, it's the drug.
Mm-hmm.
So now when it comes to Dr. Ford, his whole no Dr. Banks, his whole livelihood is in a balance now because one of your patients murdered her husband off a drug that you prescribed. And I remember the cop saying something, one of the detectives like, yo, somebody's going down for this. It's
Yeah.
either going to be her for murdering her husband, or it's going to be you for prescribing her a drug that will basically make her, kind of sleepwalk and murder her husband. So he's like, yo, somebody's going down for this. So he's like, I'm not going down for this. And so then he started putting all of his energy, and that's why I'm glad what you said, because Jude Law, he murdered this shit.
You really did.
He started getting really, really deep into it. But
Yeah.
there's one issue. The one issue is he had an affair with a former female patient.
Right.
So his girlfriend, I don't think he was married to her,
No,
but she
they
had, yeah.
married.
So she had a child. And so there's a scene where he's like all caught up in this because he's getting heat from the doctor's office that he's working for.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, yo, we got all of our patients are like, yo, are we taking the same drug that she's taking? What are the side effects of the things that we're taking? And also, he's working extra shifts because his girlfriend is looking for a new job, and she ended up
Mm-hmm.
going to a job interview and not getting the job. So he's working extra and shit.
Right.
So there's a scene where he's like, looking up shit on the computer. Girlfriend walks in with the son, like, yo, where were you? He's like, yo, what you talking about? And the son is like, yo, you forgot about me. Like, I've been at the school all damn day and you ain't even come pick me up. And he was
Right.
like, look, I done discovered this, I discovered that. And she was like, yo, you letting us take over your life and blase, blase. And so then she's like, yo, I didn't get the job. He was like, oh, man, that sucks because I just lost my job. You know what I'm saying? And I lost this the study that I was supposed to get into. And so she gets mad at him and basically leave him because she thinking the same shit is happening that happened before. So his
Right.
whole life is falling apart. So he's like, nah, he's like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna do everything in my power to figure this shit out. And that's what fucked up the shit for Sabri and Emily because they was banking on this dude just letting everything fall apart. And they're able to go along with their plan. But Dr. Banks was like, nah. He's like, fuck that shit. Like, I'm doing my own investigation, my own side investigation to figure this fucking shit out.
And what I did appreciate about the way that they set that up too was the scene where he's at the meeting with his was it his partner or his boss?
I think it was his, were they partners? Well, one of the two, partner or his boss,
Yeah.
because
They were
he was highly recommended.
right. So they're at a no, you're right. I'm sorry. It was his boss. It's his boss. So he had the meeting with his boss, and they're meeting with the I guess they're supposed to be like spokespeople for the pharmaceutical company or whatever. And they're telling them about the Abrixel medicine. And you know what I'm saying, they ask her, she like, well, I would, but I got so much shit backed up, and she, get to giving her spiel. And then when they go to Dr. Banks, he like, shit, I ain't got nothing but time, basically. Like, come with it, let's go. And what do I
Mm-hmm.
gotta do? And he get the information, he come back home, he talking to his girlfriend, he like, yo, look, they gonna give me, what I'm saying, $50,000, to pretty much promote this drug. All I gotta do is, what I'm saying, find a few patients, get them on it, take some data down, give it to them, and we good. And in the midst of that, his girlfriend's son comes out and talks about how he has nightmares. And so her reply was basically like, well, luckily, Jonathan is here. Jonathan can come, talk to you about dreams and everything else. But you seen you seen the dynamic between him and his girlfriend, and you also seen the dynamic between his him and his girlfriend's son. And
Mm-hmm.
so finally, when you get to the point to where it seems as if he's neglecting them, that he's not neglecting them. You realize that he's onto something. He sees something. He knows that something ain't right. He has to go investigate this because not only is his job on the line, his family's on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a lot of shit he has to deal with.
His license on the line.
Exactly. And they did a great job of setting that up because it showed you how much not only does he care for his girl, but because she has a son, he cares for him too. The fact that he was able to go in there and calm her son down and get him to go back to bed and everything. And not only that, they was about to get it on.
Yeah.
So the fact that my man had to muster up enough strength to go in there with that little boy and tell him, hey, dreams are great. Remember Albert Einstein, man? Yeah, Albert Einstein came up with the theory of relativity, when he was asleep. So he hyping my man's up. So that he really cares about him. The second
Mm-hmm.
thing is when they went outside, they leave in the apartments or they leave in a condo or whatever house they live in. And all of the news reporters are there. And he at first he tried to pull them through, and he realized, well, I'm not gonna be able to get them through. Y'all go the other way. I'm gonna go this way and get them up off of it. You know what I'm saying? Get them up off of y'all. And as he's walking, once all the reporters and everybody find out that Emily, killed Martin, they like, yo, what's going on? And he's pretty much covering all the bases that he can. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really doing his best to really shield them from all of the nonsense. Not only that, he also has to now go to work and deal with this because all of his other patients are asking about the shit that happened with Emily. And that's also affecting everything that he has going on. So I definitely appreciate them putting that in there because a lot of times when you watch suspense or thrillers, you don't get a chance to see the dynamic between, the other party in these movies, or it might even be a television show. You don't get to see that, like that type of storytelling. And they did a perfect job of putting, not putting, but piecing all of this together.
And then, like, to get to the shits. So you were talking earlier about how you are a sucker for twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when Emily is locked up in the institution or whatever, and he's like, "Yo, I got a plan," because
Mm-hmm.
he starts to figure out, like, because once he went on the computer and saw the comments about the drug, he saw Sabri had commented on there and had in bold letters sleepwalking. So
Right.
then it started to all come together. So he was like, "Yo, she's putting on an act." So he was like, "I'm gonna prove it." So he shows Emily one of the procedures of like the electro shock treatment shit,
Yeah.
and saying that all of the effects of it, this will happen to you, this, that, this, that. And he was like, "We're gonna have you do this." He
Mm-hmm.
was like, "You depressed, so maybe we'll do electric shock or whatever."
Right.
And so he's gassing it up, all this type shit. Doctor come in like, "Yo, you ready?" He's like, "Oh, well, we'll do her tomorrow." And he's saying, like, for people who actually have problems, it can improve you. But if you don't have problems,
It could fry you.
it's gonna make you, yeah, exactly, and it's gonna make you worse. So he goes outside, like he leaves her, like he just want her to ponder on it. So he talked to Sabri, ends up running to her outside. So Emily's looking from the window, and he knows she's looking from the window. So he's putting on all the antics that you could put on. He walks up, shakes Sabri hand, making it seem like they the best of friends, like they're coming up with this whole plan, this whole agenda to keep Emily in this institution. And so because of her watching from the window and not knowing that they're not actually plotting against her. He's just really doing this shit to make it seem like him and Sabri is like linking up and they're good friends and all this type of shit. So then she's like, all right, I'm about to tell Dr. Banks everything that's going down. Because number one, she don't want to go under electroshock. And number two, she think that she got sold out by Sabri. So she comes up there, and so Emily and Dr. Banks are having this conversation. Okay, excuse me, I'm moving too fast. So really what ended up happening was he's like, there's one way to prove that she's full of shit.
Right.
So what he does is he's like, yo, we're gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna give you this drug or whatever. And when I give you this drug, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. And like when I ask you these questions, I just basically want to see what your response is gonna be. He was like, you may say some shit that makes sense, you may say some shit that don't.
Right.
So he's giving it to her, and like he's keep pumping more and more shit into her IV. So she starts acting sleepy, talking slow. She ended up laying her head down on the table, and then she just fucking like act like she falls asleep. So he goes to the cop, to the detective that's like, yo, somebody's going down for this. It's gonna be her, it's gonna be you. He goes to the same cop and tells her what he just experienced. He's like, yo, this shit, she's faking all of it. He was like, I gave her salt water and she starts fucking performing. You know what I'm saying? She's sitting here acting like she's falling asleep and shit. He's like, yo, I gave her salt water. He's like, this ain't nothing but saline, my guy. Like, I didn't even give her anything.
Yeah.
So he's like, I know she's full of shit. And so he's having a conversation with Emily. And so Emily's telling him everything. Like, me and Martin, we got together. We at this party. Martin buys me this Porsche. Everything's going well. Then FBI, DEA, everybody pull up, arrest this motherfucker for insider trading.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, now I'm really depressed, like for real, for real. But during this time, she's seeing Dr. Sabri. She's going through a divorce with her husband. So she's in a vulnerable state, but come to find out, Dr. Sabri actually is into women.
Right.
She figures it out. So she's like, oh, okay. So now when she coming to the meetings and shit, like she's coming with, little dresses on, hiking up the dress. You know what I mean? And Dr. Sabri, she get to pulling out them glasses, looking all good with the hair slicked back and shit. Mm-hmm. And so they start getting into like a sexual relationship. Mm-hmm. And so then what Dr. Banks was able to figure out, he was like, yo, 9/11. We're thinking because of this tragedy, all the stocks are going down. Like all of the airline and shit like that, all the stocks are going down. But come to find out, if I'm not mistaken, I might have missed it, but I think the airline that actually crashed into the building, I believe, I could be wrong about this, that stock went up.
Right.
So from what Emily learned from Martin and told Dr. Sabri was, if we use this drug and I murder my husband and say that I was sleepwalking, the stock is going to go up. And she couldn't do it in her name because she she would be a suspect.
Right.
For insider trading. So she had Sabri do it to make it seem like, so nobody know that they are conspiring together. So she's telling Dr. Banks, yo, we get into this relationship and we come up with this whole plan to murder Martin and to get this drug stock up so we could basically get a lump sum of money. Mm-hmm. And so she comes up with the plan to get Dr. Sabri not on camera, but on wire, admitting to the crime that she did. But she also, to get out of jail, she needed Dr. Banks to say, oh, well, she's fine. She's not a danger to society. As long as she's under my care and doing what I need her to do, she's going to be fine. So they let her out of jail for that under that agreement. So she goes to Dr. Sabri. You know what I'm saying? They kissing and all this type stuff. Very great scene. So they kissing and all this stuff, and then she's filling her up, and then she feels the fucking wire on her back, and she's like, "Damn, you set me up." So Dr. Sabri in jail. So then the next scene we see Emily goes in and see Dr. Baker. She's like, "All right, what you need me to do?" My guy. Dr. Banks is like, "All right, you know there's one drug that'll have you down, like, oh man, what they call it?
Tramadol.
Like basically a tranquilizer drug.
Tramadol.
All right. Yeah, tramadol. Boom. You taking that. And then he's like, all right, write you this other prescription. The side effects is hair loss, insomnia, nausea. He's taking that too. And then he's like, and I'm gonna have you do a piss test every week so I can make sure you're taking it. And she's like, yo, this is some bullshit. She's like, man, fuck this. He was like, I got you Sabri on a platter, and now you gonna make me take this shit. So the whole shit ended up being he was able to flip the table and fucking get Sabri locked up for setting them up, and get her actually locked up in a fucking mental institution when there was absolutely nothing fucking wrong with her in the first place.
Right.
So, man, you want to talk about a twist and a turn in a movie? Yo. Perfection, my guy.
Perfection.
And he got his family back.
Listen, first and foremost, I will say this. I've been in situations where I had to take prescription drugs. Nothing like Zoloft or none of that shit, but I will say this. Tramadol, I don't give a fuck what kind of that's the crack cocaine and morphine. If morphine could be cocaine, Tramadol is the crack. I will say that. Cause I had a injury not too long ago. And when I tell you they gave me Tramadol, let me tell you something. Best sleep I ever got in my life. You can't do nothing on Tramadol, okay? I don't care what doses they give you. You can't do shit on Tramadol. If you take a Tramadol and think you're going to cut the grass, you're gonna get through them first two lines, you're gonna be sleeping in the front line. I guarantee you. That's how powerful that shit is. So I know for a fact, like, with the way that these drugs are set up and the side effects that they talk about, like even the ones we see in the commercials on TV, like the side effects always outweigh whatever you got as an ailment. So like if you got dry and itchy skin and they give you a drug that is gonna cure it and you ain't gotta worry about it no more, and the blood platelets go to the area or whatever they talk about on the commercials, you still gonna have anal seepage, you're gonna have a runny nose, you're gonna have swollen feet, you're gonna miss a finger, your teeth gonna get super, super, super sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, after you get over the runny nose, you're gonna get another runny nose. You know what I'm saying? Your eyes gonna get red. You might lose, you know what I'm saying, your eyebrows. It's all kind of shit that ends up coming up with these medicines with the side effects. And you like, I don't even want to take none of this shit at this point. I don't care what I got. Just let me have that. Because what you don't want to be is somebody who had mono and then they come out and give you a subscription for mono, and next thing you know, you out here with no eyebrows and no hair.
Oh,
looking like a thumb with eyes. You don't want that. That's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say that Big Pharma is the real villain in this, because the fact that Captain Zeta-Jones' character, Dr. Sieber, was working with the actual company to push this drug and to get this drug out, only to then turn that around and then use that as a way to get rid of Martin. Like, without Big Pharma, we don't have none of this.
Yeah, absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? They get a few band-aids slapped on them, go back outside. But instead, they like, yo, take 300 milligrams of this, take 200 milligrams of this. You got to take this twice a night. You got to drink water when you take, like, that type shit. it was a perfect shot at Big Pharma for sure. I think that's what this movie is.
Yep, I agree with you 100%.
All right, man, let's do it. Um, we coming to the end of it, so let's get into the Fire Flames. You ready?
Let's do it. Hmm.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right, man. So, what are you rating this film?
Well, first of all, I think that the casting was pretty good. I do agree with you. I think Channing Tatum did a really good job of dying.
Absolutely.
Um,
Might be top 10, top 5 movie deaths of all time. If we can get into that one day, I think Channing Tatum is gonna end up on that top 10 list for sure. Maybe top 5, but top 10 list for sure.
but yeah, man. I think that Kathleen Jetta. Oh man. Anyway, she murdered it. Jude Law, he did a great job. Rooney Mara did a great job. The writing, you mentioned everybody's name, the director and the writer. I think they
Mhm.
did a really, really good job with this. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Mhm.
Side Effects is a movie that I've been seeing for a while. It caught my eye from the very beginning, and like you said, Big Pharma, man, they really the ones who really took the biggest hit on this, man.
Absolutely.
But then it also, like I said, the same thing that it did in the Crowded Room is
Mhm.
similar to this. It's like, because what's gonna happen, like when people gonna go out here and start murdering people and be like, yo, the side effects is this.
I mean, I sleep.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's that's why I say, like, it kind of toys the line. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's
Absolutely.
really one of those conversation starters of like, what if somebody really is sleepwalking and not really knowing what the fuck they doing?
Mhm.
Just because we find out in this movie that the whole shit was fake, we don't know if there is a situation where this could really be a thing. So, but yeah, man, I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5, man.
I'm going to give this movie a 4. And the reason I give this movie a 4 is because of the fact that they didn't attack Big Pharma. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really get into getting the people that Dr. Siebert was working with. You know what I'm saying? Or the fact that they didn't press Jude Law, Dr. Banks hard enough to talk about, you know what I'm saying, the drugs that he's handing out, so on and so forth. They never gave us any of that type of information to make any of this seem as if it's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Because we kind of see that and we get hints of it in the beginning, but we really don't get the chance to see the consequences and repercussions that come along with prescribing a patient the wrong information and the wrong dosages and the wrong medicines. We didn't get to see like the whole malpractice thing. We didn't get to see the um the interactions, or maybe like a throwback or something of her and Catherine Zeta Jones's character, Siebert, in action. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get to see her sitting on the couch with Dr. Siebert or none of that. So I think if they would have added those two elements in, this definitely could have been a 5 without question.
Cool, cool. I ain't mad at it, man.
Cool, man. Let's get into coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
So the next episode we have is an appreciation episode, and as dot man, let them know who we doing.
Yeah, man. We're doing someone that we actually waiting on, man. He from the very beginning, he always said, I'm doing 10 films.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm doing. 10. We're still waiting to see what that 10th one is. So maybe we too early. Maybe we got to revisit it. But we are doing Quentin Tarantino, man. I'm really, really looking forward to this, man. When it comes to the Kill Bill movies, the Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight was
Um,
amazing.
like you know what I'm saying, Django, like he got a lot of movies, Pulp Fiction, he got a lot of movies under his belt, man, that it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be great to go, you know, speak about a lot of these movies. Just the fact of like Quentin Tarantino is like to get his start, just it's it sounds cliche, but to work in a video store and say, man, you know what? I want to write a movie. And this motherfucker do Reservoir Dogs and blows the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like
classic.
so yes, so yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great to talk about a guy like Quentin Tarantino.
Okay, real quick question. If
Hit me with it.
Tarantino could do any type of movie, right? Because he did Inglorious Bastards,
Yes.
which was amazing. So World War II is not an option. If he
Okay.
can cover maybe like either let's say like Vietnam, maybe Civil War, or um I don't know. Ooh, maybe like the Cold War. You know what I'm saying? If he can
hmm
cover any one of those three, which would you rather see Tarantino cover?
Look, I know what I want to see. I was gonna save it for the pod,
Hmm.
but I know personally, for my personal interest, what I want his 10th and final movie to be.
What's that?
Oh, you want me to reveal it here? I
Yeah,
reveal it here.
come on, man.
What are we
Exclusive.
talking about, man?
Bro,
Kill Bill 3. What are you talking about?
don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Kill Bill 3. You know what I'm saying? Look,
Yeah.
we already had, look, and I didn't notice till later
Hmm.
that BB, the daughter, was actually her daughter, which
Hmm.
has grown up to be a fucking star. You know what I'm saying? We see her in Stranger Things.
Yep.
We see her in what's that new joint that she just did? Ah, she just did a new joint. She got a new movie coming out with everybody's in that shit. Man, why is it but
You
Maya
talking?
Hawke.
You talking about the girl
But
that was 11?
no. The one that's a lesbian. The one that worked at the store with the one guy.
At the video store.
Was it a video store? No, they worked at like an ice cream shop or some shit like
You
that.
right. You right. I'm tripping. You right. You right. Okay.
Yeah,
I know
like
you talking
that's
about.
she was actually in Kill Bill 2 as a
Yeah.
little girl. That like Uma Thurman actually got to work with her daughter.
Yeah.
We saw the scene
Mhm.
where when she killed uh Vivica A. Fox, the little
Mhm.
girl came in and said, "Yo, you ever got some beef and
Yeah.
you
Come
you
through.
know what I'm saying, you want to sell it? Come
Come
and find me."
That would be perfection.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you
You know
something.
what I'm saying?
Got a cherry on top. Oh my gosh.
And you want to know? I already know who I'm casting. Who the girl gonna be?
Who?
Zazie Beetz. Who you talking about, man? Look, Zazie Beetz and Ethan. I'm gonna say her daddy name. Maya Hawke. Come on, come on. That's the movie right there, man. That's the movie. That's the movie right there. I got people who gonna be in the movie already.
I feel you. I feel you with Zazie Beats, but because I haven't really seen her in like a lot of action. I mean, we seen her in the
Bullet
trailer.
Train. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also seen her in Deadpool. So she got
hmm
some action under her belt. I'm not knocking that. But I'm be honest with you, you might want to go Tessa Thompson.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
You give
The
you give
reason I said Zazie Beetz, the reason I said Zazie Beetz, because you also got to consider the fact that BB and that little girl was around the same age.
I mean
Tessa
that's
Thompson's a little
but
older.
it's Hollywood though.
I mean, it is Hollywood. It is Hollywood.
How old is Tessa Thompson?
Tessa Thompson's like, I think Tessa Thompson might be my age.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like at this point, we don't know for real. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how old this woman really is. Hollywood age. We don't know how old Tessa Thompson
Well, the
is.
only reason I say that is because Maya Hawke is only like 22, 23.
Let me tell you
Like,
something. If you put Tessa Thompson next to her, they gonna look the same age. I guarantee you. There's gonna be nothing like, nah, man, that girl older than her. No, you'll be like, Tessa Thompson did her thing. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's funny. Well,
Black,
we could definitely continue this conversation.
yeah, black women age too gracefully, bro.
That's
So,
funny.
so listen, man. If you guys seen Side Effects and enjoyed it, or you didn't enjoy it, or you took some drugs and had side effects, hit us up. Let us know on Instagram, Twitter at View9Pod. You could also hit us up on Facebook, BA Pod Watch Group, or you could join the community on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. Let us know about all your feelings and emotions on all the shows, and or just update us, man. Let us know what you guys are watching too. Also, if you are following this podcast, make sure you subscribe, man. You are missing out. We are covering the Max show Winning Time under our subscription right now. It's getting good. It's getting real good. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to miss out. You don't want to be the last person to subscribe and be like, man, I've been following these guys all along. It's only $2.99. Make sure you subscribe. It's a monthly subscription, but you will not be disappointed. We got so much more coming. We got so much more on the way. We are really getting into this pod thing for a change, man. You know, we've been doing it, you know what I'm saying, 2 episodes for the longest. We giving y'all more episodes, you know what I'm saying? We just asking y'all to, you know what I'm saying, help us out with $2.99 a month, and you can get access to all of those. And if you would like to follow me personally, you can hit me up on Twitter at Scoots Bronson. I have a link tree in my bio. You can follow me everywhere else there.
And y'all can find me at S.Foster on Instagram. And damn, man, it's gonna be hard getting used to saying X. It's really gonna get hard getting used to that. But S.Foster8 on there as well. At the 28 minutes or less pod, that's just on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. The last episode is A Star Is Born, which is episode 132 with my little homie, you know what I'm saying, my youngest born, Jacoby. So go check that out on all major platforms. And that's all I got.
That's what's up, man. Listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching, man. But until the next episode, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.